Today I will make a video about the best RTX Prebuilt gaming PCs of the month. An RTX gaming PC means that the GPU has an NVIDIA RTX graphics card. And considering that these type of PCs are really expensive, I tried to make a list where at least the price performance was decent. We are going to go from the cheapest to the most expensive one. And you will have all the links to these PCs down below in the description. Now let's start. So with the first PC we have the Omen 25L with the RTX 3060 Ti, the Ryzen 5 5600X just for $1,450. And I know I say just, but that's because I couldn't find a better deal with the RTX 3060 for a decent price. This one was the cheapest one that I could find, and it's a pretty good gaming PC if you want to start playing games at 240 FPS on average at 1080p, and you can even start playing games at 1440p and even some competitive games at 4K. The processor, the Ryzen 5 5600X, it's a beast. The RTX 3060 Ti I think is the best RTX in terms of price performance. The RTX 3060 is not that good, it's like a 2060 Super, and the RTX 3070 I think is too expensive. So I think the 3060 Ti is one of the best in terms of price performance, and I really recommend you buying this gaming PC if you have this type of budget or you want to buy a high-end gaming PC without spending more than $2,000. One thing to consider is that it's $1,450 if you upgrade the storage to 1TB of secondary storage by clicking on Customize and Buy. You can upgrade the RAM too from 8 to 16 gigs, which is what I recommend, but it's $100 more expensive, which I think it's a lot for 8 gigs of RAM. So I will leave you 16 gigs of RAM down below in the description for $70, so you save around $30 and you get 16 gigs of RAM at 3200 MHz of speeds. So I don't recommend you upgrading the RAM from the website. I recommend you going for the link down below in the description and swapping the RAM, which is pretty easy. But if you don't want to go through that process, maybe it's worth it to spend those extra $30. But I recommend you buying from Amazon and swapping it by yourself. It's really easy. This gaming PC for games like Fortnite, Valorant, CSGO and competitive games is way more than enough, and you will be getting more than 300 FPS on average in every video game that I just mentioned. So if you want to buy a 240Hz 1080p monitor, you can do it. And if you want to buy a 1440p 144Hz monitor, you can do that too. The next gaming PC is from Amazon and it's the Skytech Azure Gaming PC. This one has the Ryzen 5 3600, which is worse than the last one, the Ryzen 5 5600X, but you get the RTX 3070, which is better than the 3060 Ti. You get 16 gigs of RAM and 1TB of SSD, so here you won't need to upgrade anything. This is the total price, $1,700, and it's a little bit better at gaming than the Omen 25L. But do I recommend upgrading it from the last one to this one? Of course it's up to you, but I don't think it's worth the price difference, considering that the other one has a better processor and just a little bit worse graphics card. But of course this is up to you and up to your budget. For competitive games it's going to be the same for this one or the last one. There's not going to be any difference. You are going to notice a difference maybe when playing 4K games, but if you don't have a 4K monitor I don't think it's worth the price difference. But of course it's up to you. Although if you have a budget between $16 to $17 to $800, maybe it's worth the upgrade to buy the ABS Gladiator Gaming PC for $1,800, which has the Ryzen 7 3700X, which is great for both gaming and editing, the RTX 3070, 16 gigs of RAM and 1TB of SSD. Here once again you won't need to upgrade anything and has a better CPU than the last one because it has the Ryzen 7 3700X. This gaming PC is great both for editing and gaming. And once again, unless you have a 4K monitor, I recommend you going with the Omen 25L because you are not going to notice a big difference. And now for the last one, which I think is one of the greatest RTX Prebuilt gaming PCs, we have the Streaming Pro PC from NZXT. This one has the Ryzen 7 5800X and the RTX 3080, 32 gigs of RAM and 1TB of SSD. Here you have way more RAM to do multitasking and editing. I think 32 gigs of RAM for editing is way better than the other gaming PCs. The RTX 3080, of course, it's a beast and it's really hard to find on stock right now. And the Ryzen 7 5800X, which is a great CPU for both gaming and editing. If you want to stream with one PC, you don't want to buy two PCs, you want to play games at 4K or 1440p at 144 FPS on average in almost every game, this one is the one for you. Of course it's expensive, it's around $2,400, so if you have a budget between $2,000 and $2,200, or maybe you have a higher budget than $2,400, you will have links to more Prebuilt gaming PCs down below in the description that I recommend you buying for that budget, but I didn't want to make this video too long. So to conclude, this PC is great for everything you can imagine. I don't think a 3090 is necessary for gaming. I think if you're just going to play the usual games at 4K, this gaming PC is for you. And I think if you're going to play the usual games at 1080p, the first one, the Omen 25L, is your best bet, considering that is the cheapest one on the list, and if you have a higher budget, you end up saving money to buy maybe a monitor or future upgrades. So in my personal opinion, I think that if you are a creator, you need a high-end gaming PC, I think this NZXT is a great one, but if you're going to play games at 1080p, I think the first one is more than enough. And if you have a budget below $1,200, don't worry about it, I have a video about the best budget Prebuilt gaming PCs of September that you can watch by clicking on the top right of the screen, and I think it's worth watching that video if your budget is between $500 to $1,000. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe, but most importantly hit the bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of stuff, and you will helping me a lot. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.